Yo, what is up YouTube? I told you guys that I was going to be making a Battle Royale draft and tips video, and here it is. So first and foremost, let me show you guys, you know what, I gotta flex real quick. Right there in the top left, you see we already got our first Battle Royale flawless 12-0. It's only been 2 weeks into the game cycle. That's the earliest I've ever gotten, I believe. So we're starting to figure out the meta a little bit, and I'm gonna be sharing it with you guys. One more thing I want to show you guys. So first, my standings for Battle Royale were 91 and 21. That's not the best. I'm gonna be honest, I've been struggling with hitting a bit. I'm gonna show you guys a little more into that in a second, but you can see my average is 423. Usually I'm around 450, 460 in Battle Royale. I've been struggling a bit, man, and I think it's because I've taken 4 months off of MLB The Show. It's gonna take a little bit to get back in the groove of things, but we're gonna be fine. My ERA is negative 0.39. We'll take it. I don't know why SDS is saying that my ERA is that good, but you know what? It's going to make the video better. So our ERA is negative 0.39. I take away runs from my opponent. But let's go a little into my game history. Shit. Okay, so my last Battle Royale run ended at 11 and 1. As you can see here, we lost 4-3. We only gave up 4 runs through 4 innings, so we were pitching well. Like I said, I've been struggling with hitting a bit, but even so, I was able to get to my 12-win reward. So the fact that that's what we were able to do while not being able to hit, that should show you that my drafting is a big part of the reason why I'm even able to compete, because I have not been able to hit. And yeah, it's been user error. But anyways, let me show you my last few games. So against this guy, I only held him to 1 run. This guy shut him out. This guy held him to 1 run. This guy held him to no runs. This guy held him to 1 run. This guy, no runs. He ended up rage quitting. This is my only other loss in this run. It was to D-Goss. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's a very good player. He's a top player. He's been a top player since MLB 15, and he's a close friend of mine. So yeah, he shut us down that game. But this game we held him to 1 run, and this game we also held him to 1 run. If you played Battle Royale, you know that holding your opponent to 1 run through 3 innings is not easy. In fact, it is very difficult to do that. So without further ado, let's get into the draft. First, I'm gonna say a few things when it comes to pitching. You wanna make sure you pick a pitcher that has a sinker or a cutter, or a glitchy delivery, or pitches with maximum break, like Keone Kela. He has 99 break on his curveball, so he's able to throw gas and also surprise you with that nasty breaking ball. So those are the things you want to look for going into it. And I like to have at least 2 starters that I can trust to come into the game because it's Battle Royale. If you're playing a sweaty player, you're going to run out of bullpen arms. So you don't want to be stuck with no bullpen arms and no starters either. So I like at least 2 starters. I would love 3, but 2 is the bare minimum. And when it comes to relievers, you need the 7 relievers, you need to have at least 5 that you could trust. And I like to have at least 6, but 5 is the bare minimum for that. And when it comes to lefties, you need at least 2, and 3 is ideal. But if you can get 2 really good lefties, you're gonna have a good time, because man, there's a lot of guys that like to stack lefties in their lineup. If you have no lefties, then you're gonna be screwed. If you just have 1 lefty, you're gonna use them 1 game and it's gonna be dead for the next one. If you only have 2, then it's gonna be hard just using one or the other every other game. You're gonna have a much better time if you have 3 lefties. And for hitting, I'm gonna go a little deeper into that as we're drafting, so we'll do that live. Okay, first we have Tom Glavine. You don't want to use your diamond pick on a starter, because this is a pitcher you're only gonna be able to use once every 2 to 3 games. 2 games if you're lucky, but more often than not, it's going to be once every 3 games. So you want to use it on a card you're going to be able to use every game. So with these diamond picks, you want to use someone that's at a premier position, or if they're like a center fielder like Mike Trout that has really good fielding. You can see Steve Finley, 86 fielding. He has the speed, the power to both sides. He'd be a really good pick if Chipper Jones wasn't here. Chipper Jones has the contact, the power, the speed, stealing, vision, fielding. He has at least a silver in, which is perfect. And you can play him at shortstop. If you don't get a better shortstop in the draft, you could get someone that can play third base like Mike Moustakas or Miguel Sano, and you can move Chipper to shortstop. Jackie Robinson is another solid pick. He has the speed. He has good enough power, 80 and 84. Power runs everything in Battle Royale, but we got to go Chipper here. Now, if we had someone like David Ortiz that round, you wouldn't even consider him with Jackie and Steve Finley on the board, because you're going to get a good first baseman regardless, or at least a good enough first baseman. You want to make sure you're using those high picks on positions that are harder to come by. Steve Finley, gold fielding in the outfield with speed and power, and then Jackie Robinson, second baseman. There's not too many crazy second basemen. You could get lucky and get Gleyber Torres, but Jackie Robinson's absolutely unreal with that speed. Okay, so next round we have Beria. No crazy pitches, like I told you. If you don't have a glitchy release, a sinker or a cutter, or crazy break on your pitches, you don't even want to consider a guy like this. Josh Taylor, he could be a lefty specialist for sure, and it's a little harder to come by lefties. He's a bronze. That wouldn't be a bad pick, especially since he throws kind of hard, 94. Again, this is going to be a guy that you bring in if you have your opponent with 3 lefties in a row, or maybe 2 lefties in a row. You're going to have to bite the bullet and face at least one righty because of the 3 batter minimum rule, or he may pinch hit. But if he does, again, you're wasting his pinch hitters. That's one less guy he's going to be able to bring in when his pitcher is up to bat. So the fact that these 2 hitters are awful makes it very easy for us. We're going to take Josh Taylor. Okay, so this round we get Corbin Burns, who has a sinker and a cutter, and he's going to get upgraded. This is not a bad pick at all if we didn't have Nelson Cruz here. Absolute demon. He's just absolutely cracked. I'm batting 500 with him. Limited at bats, but 1 home run. His fielding's bad, 37. It's really bad. There's going to be a lot of base hits that you give up that would have been caught by other players. That's definitely a trade-off that you got to ask yourself if it's worth it. Personally, I at least am okay with having 1 really bad fielder in the outfield. If it comes down to having him and JD Martinez in the outfield, then maybe I'd have to think twice. But for right now, I'm absolutely going to take him. Jeremiah Jackson's a shortstop. Decent hitting attributes. This wouldn't be a bad pick either, but you can't look past those numbers for Nelson Cruz. Okay, so this isn't the best round. We get Sixto Sanchez, hard thrower. Again, I don't like picking diamond starters because you're going to use them once every 3 games. DJ LeMahieu's playing up versus righties. Not enough power for my liking. He is a second baseman, but yeah. Cal Ripken, awful attributes. Garrett Anderson, power lefty. He could also hold his own versus lefties, so this is a very good card. And he has 72 fielding and 70 reactions, so he's right past that silver fielding threshold where you don't get too many bad animations. So we're going to take him for sure. Now we have 2 guys with maximum hitting versus lefties pretty much, and then 1 guy with good hitting versus righties. Right here we get really lucky. I was telling you guys about how we could get Miguel Sano, and if we need to move Chipper to shortstop, we could do that, or we could even have Miguel Sano just starting at first base. Look at those power numbers. In all-star difficulty, which is what Battle Royale is, your PCI is not too small. If this was on Hall of Fame or Legend, your PCI is going to be way too tiny with Miguel Sano. On All-Star, it's still going to be usable, especially if your opponent has a pitcher that doesn't have crazy per 9s. Zach Eflin has a sinker. If Sano wasn't here, he would be the pick because these 2 guys are awful. So, Miguel Sano, there we go. All right, this round we get Cole Hamels, who has a cutter. I think I used him before. Yeah, I have a 1 whip, 2 scoreless innings with them. Again, I told you guys, look out for cutters. And the fact that he's a lefty helps, especially as a starter, because that's one spot you don't have to take in your bullpen that's going to be able to pitch the lefties. Kyle Lewis is really good. He's playing up versus lefties. He already has the power and contact versus righties. It's between him and Cole Hamels, but I think I am going to go with Kyle Lewis here. Okay, so here we get Zach Thompson. Bad pitch repertoire. Wilson Ramos is playing down, doesn't have the craziest attributes. Alfonso Soriano has a crazy speed. He's a second baseman, has power versus righties, and then contact versus lefties. This isn't a bad card. Carlos Correa is playing up versus lefties, and just like Soriano, he has the power versus righties already. It's just not the speed. He's a shortstop with gold fielding and 84 reaction. So you could go either way here. I don't like this pick regardless. I know a lot of people say that Carlos Correa has a good swing though. It's a little tough for me. I think I'm gonna go with Alfonso Soriano just because I really like his swing, but you can't go wrong either way here. Okay, so we're definitely gonna have to get some lefties now because our lineup is very righty heavy. I will say it's a lot better to have a lot of righties because it's easier to hit righty-righty than it is to hit lefty-lefty. So if we had 4 lefties right now instead of 4 righties, this would already be a redraft unless we're going to get someone off the bench that could sub in instead. But for the most part, you don't want to have too many lefties, especially with guys like Aroldis Chapman in everyone's bullpen in BR. He's absolutely disgusting. Aaron Bummer, you're going to have a bad time trying to hit lefty. So right here we get Freddie Peralta, doesn't have crazy pitches. This is a switch hitter. His attributes aren't too crazy. He is a shortstop, silver fielding. This wouldn't be a bad pick. Travis d'Arnaud, he's playing really up versus righties. This wouldn't be a bad pick either, but again, we have too many righties already. Trevor Rosenthal, he's pretty decent. He throws gas, and he has really good break on the slider. Not crazy break on the changeup. I think I'm going to go with him here. We don't have any righties yet in the bullpen. We definitely got to start working towards that bullpen because, again, like I said, I like to rely on my bullpen heavily. So Frankie Montes, nothing crazy about him. Austin Adams, nothing crazy about him. Danny Jansen's awful attributes. Jimenez also awful attributes. We're going to take Frankie Montes as a throwaway pick. We're probably not going to use him. He's never going to see the field. But we have 3 starting pitcher spots that we can waste on guys that aren't going to see the field. Like I said, you want at least 2 solid starters in your team. Oh, and we get a really good round here. So Sandy Alcantara, he has a sinker, and then we have Aaron Bummer. I was just talking about how he's one of the best lefties in the game. He could pitch to righties as well. He's solid. 99 break on that sinker, and he throws gas. And the other pick is Adalberto Mondesi. The problem with him is he doesn't, he's glitchy regardless of what he's facing. I'm batting 400 with him. 300 versus righties, 500 versus lefties, which is showed in his attributes. Better numbers versus lefties. We already have a lot of righties on our team, so we're going to take Aaron Bummer. Okay, another throwaway round, it looks like. Randy Dobnak. Oh, he has a sinker. Let's see what the break is. 99 break on that sinker. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and take him. Oh, Jorge Lopez also has a sinker with 81 break. I'd rather have the bronze starter than the bronze reliever. I think I'm going to take the starter here so we could have a more solid bullpen. But if we need to fall back on the rotation, we have this guy. Because you're not going to get too many really good starters to pitch. Right here, we get Mike Fiers. And look at this card right here. You see that velocity is 99? His cutter has outlier. I believe he's the only card in the game that has outlier on his cutter. His fastball also reaches over 100 miles per hour. This is without a doubt one of the best bronzes in the game. So we're not even going to consider these 2 guys. Look at how awful their attributes are. Emmanuel Kloss, welcome to the bullpen. Throwaway round right here. We're just going to take the throwaway starter that's not going to see the field. Okay, so here we get Adalberto Mondesi again. Again, we have enough righties already. I know he's a switch hitter, but the splits favor versus lefties. Omar Narvaez playing up. This would be a solid platoon, but you don't really want to have a catcher that you're going to platoon because there's no guarantee you're going to get another good catcher. So Emilio Pagan, one of my favorite relievers in the game. That cutter is disgusting, and his fastball has 99 control. The differential between the fastball and the cutter is what gets a lot of players because it's almost 10 miles per hour different. So if you're sitting on that fastball and you see the cutter, it looks straight and it's just going to take off at the end. So Dallas Keuchel also has a good pitch repertoire. He has a sinker, cutter, changeup, slider. He just throws really slow. Right now we have 2 lefties in the bullpen already. I'm going to take Emilio Pagan. He's very reliable. So I'm going to take him. Right here we get Eric Lauer, a lefty with his cutter. This is a good bronze round because this is a starter that you can get that you can bring in against lefties. He's probably not going to be the best one to bring in against righties, but yeah, he's good enough. And then Kelvin Herrera has a cutter, but I think it has decent break, 67 break. We need a couple more shutdown righties though, so I'm going to take Eric Bauer as a starter. Again, I really want to go bullpen heavy, so we're going to try to load up the starting rotation with bronzes and commons. Okay, so our hitters in this round are awful. Garrett Clevenger, nothing unique about him. He throws lefty. We need more righties. So our last starting pitcher location, this guy has 99 break on his sinker. So, that's a pretty much a given that we're going to go ahead and take him there. The only downside of this now, and normally I wouldn't do this, is we're going to have to take a common at a fielding position or in the bullpen. And I don't like taking commons in the bullpen. Right now we still have 3 spots for our bullpen though. So if we have to absolutely take a common, we'll survive. Like I said, you need at least 5 in the bullpen that you trust with your life, and then 2 in your rotation that you trust. And looks like we have 3 that we can really throw, 3 or 4 in the rotation. So we're already way above that threshold. And here we go, we get stuck with the common. This guy throws lefty, this guy throws righty, doesn't really have anything unique about him. Bad break. I don't think I want to take him here. I'd rather take Cole Tucker at shortstop and hope that we get another shortstop that we could bring in after we draft our bullpen. I'm gonna play it risky here, but it's up to you guys what you want to do. Okay, right here we get Dan Winkler. He has a cutter. I haven't used him this year, but he was really good last year. 94 break on that cutter. I'd rather take him than taking that common. Your Mercedes is playing up, nothing crazy. Castro is awful. We're gonna take Dan Winkler here. Hopefully we get 2 really good relievers to finish those last spots up. Hector Neris, he has a sinker, splitter, and a fastball. 71 break on that sinker, 99 on the splitter. He wouldn't be a bad pick. I haven't used him this year. It says he's playing down, but he's not. Sandy Leon, awful. Jacob Nottingham, good versus lefties, awful versus righties. Andrew Knapp, he's a switch hitter, but he's awful as well. This is a little tougher. So we have Emilio Pagan, Trevor Rosenthal, Aaron Bummer, and Josh Taylor versus lefties, and then Emmanuel Claus is glitchy. I think we're going to take Hector Neris here. Sinker and splitter is solid. We just need to make sure we get a really good reliever for our last spot, and then we'll use those last few silvers to build up our bench. Okay, so we get Mike Zunino here. Absolute glitch. Look at the power. Low contact and high power plays really well in this game. If you square it up, it's going to be a home run. It's not going to be a weak base hit. It's going to be a home run. Craig Stammen has a sinker. But again, like I said, I want to make sure we get a nasty reliever for this last slot. Okay, Pedro Martinez is good. He's not good enough to be that last position, in my opinion. Kyle Seager has a good swing. He's a lefty. We don't have that many lefties yet. If we can move Chipper Jones to shortstop and have Kyle Seager at third base. So that's a good pick right there. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Darren O'Day because against lower skilled players, Darren O'Day is automatic. I'm not going to consider these guys because we already have too many righties. I got to go with Darren O'Day here. Okay, right here we got Wade Boggs, Hunter Bishop, who's a lefty with solid fielding. I think that's who we're going to go with. Starling Marte and Gary Sheffield. Gary Sheffield has better hitting attributes, but we do not have any lefties. We need lefties. So we're going to take Hunter Bishop. That wasn't the best gold round, to be honest. Okay, right here we got a Mike Zunino and Corey Dickerson. I think I'm going to take Logan Morrison here. Maybe start him at first, Kyle Seager at third, Chipper at shortstop, or we'll move it around a bit, but we're going to take Logan Morrison here. Oh, now we get Matt Adams. I think we're going to take Matt Adams. The reason for taking Matt Adams is because he is one of the cards for the BR program that if you hit home runs with him, he gives you a boost to the program points. So we're going to take Matt Adams. Not only that, he's a solid lefty, but now we need to take a righty. So we're full of righties in the starting lineup. We're going to have to take a righty on the bench here. And we get Robinson Chirinos. Okay, that's perfect. So we're going to start him instead of Mike Zunino. Okay, and this is what the lineup is going to look like. So we're going to have Garrett Anderson leading off. I like to have the best hitter batting second, just in case that first guy gets on. If you hit a home run with Chipper Jones, it's going to be 2-0 as opposed to leading him off and it being 1-0. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to have him first either. He has a little bit of speed too. You can go either way. Then we have Nelson Cruz and Matt Adams. So we have Matt Adams splitting up the righties, Nelson Cruz and Chirinos. Look at those splits. So they're probably going to keep in a righty, which means after you face Chirinos, you get to face the righty with Hunter Bishop. If they bring in a lefty, then you're going to have to face Miguel Sano with the righty. And then Alfonso Soriano, he can hit both sides. More power versus righties, more contact versus lefties. So I think this is the best way to split it up. And then we got our bench still. We have Kyle Seager, Kyle Lewis, Logan Morrison, Cole Tucker, and Mike Zunino on the bench. That is the nastiest bench besides Cole Tucker, and he can play anywhere on the field, so that's going to be a good replacement in case we have to platoon somebody with someone out of position. And yeah, so again, you want to definitely draft for power. You want to split up your lineup so you don't have too many lefties, not too many righties. And luckily we're in a situation where we can bring in anybody off the bench at any time if we have the platoon disadvantage. So there's not much more I need to say about that when it comes to hitting. This is a solid team. So now when it comes to the bullpen, again, I'm gonna go ahead and break it down again. You don't want to have any pitchers that don't have anything unique about them. So things that can be unique are being a lefty pitcher that throws hard, because you're gonna run into some teams that have 3 to 4 lefties back to back to back. You're gonna want to bring in someone like Josh Taylor. He's not gonna be the best against righties because he doesn't have that crazy out pitch, but he'll get the job done. Then we have Aaron Bummer, another lefty that has a sinker and a cutter. He's going to be able to get righties out as well. That is the huge thing about him. So you're definitely going to want to save him for a situation where you're going to be facing a lefty and righty after. Josh Taylor's more so the lefty specialist. If they have back-to-back lefties and you only have to face one righty, that'd be solid. Manuel Klaus, another pitcher with a cutter. Not only that, he has outlier. So that's two things unique about him. And the slider is pretty hard too. Emilio Pagan has the cutter. Nothing more needs to be said about that. Dan Winkler also has a cutter. The best pitch in the game is the cutter. When you throw it to a righty, they're going to pull it off and be early. When you throw it to a lefty, you can throw it for a ball and they're going to swing at it. Hector Neris has a sinker in the splitter, and that splitter has 99 break. Trevor Rosenthal, nothing crazy about him. He's just a solid overall card. You can definitely get away with using him against the lower skilled players at the beginning of your run. Maybe throw him out there your first game. You're most likely going to face someone that is also 0-0. They might be a lower rated player. And then that way you can test them out, see how you like them. And it doesn't just have to be Rosenthal. This could be guys like Keone Kela who don't have a sinker or cutter. I do really well with him. It could be like Dylan Betances, who has that maximum break on a slurve, but his fastball isn't that hard anymore. The first game is for someone like this that you want to see, oh, can they get the job done? You want to try it out early. But I'm going to talk more about that in the next video. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a video where I also explain to you the tactics that you want to take into the game. I'll go more into that at the end of this video. So Darren O'Day, glitchy release. The thing with Darren O'Day is he does tip his pitches. I don't know how to tell when they tip the pitches, but top players usually do. So if you're getting lit up by him, you might want to take him out. If you're facing a lower rated player, you're going to have a good time. As you can see, again, I have a 4.15 ERA with him. Nothing unique about him. He's probably not going to see the field. Jorge Lopez has a sinker with 81 break, pretty decent. He may see the field against righties in a blowout, perhaps. I don't know. This guy has nothing special about him. He's a common. Eric Lauer has a cutter as a bronze lefty. That's going to be your third lefty that you're going to be using. Like I said, you want at least 2, if possible 3 lefties that you can trust. This is a third. So Tanner, dude has 99 break on the sinker. He may see some playing time as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to drafting. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, the next video, I'm going to be taking this team into Battle Royale and giving you guys some tips on how to pitch, how to hit. I'm not just going to throw you guys out there and say, this is a team to draft. Go figure it out yourself. No, I'm going to show you guys the tactics that I take into every game, the tactics that I take deeper into games, all of that good stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. Again, this draft strategy has helped me a lot this year. Please drop a like if you did enjoy it. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. It is free and it helps the channel a lot. Thank you guys so much. If you guys want to comment what you want to see moving forward, any tutorials or tips, please feel free to comment down below. Appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for that next video.